good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. And it's time to talk about the season finale of She-Hulk. I'm here with Ginger Greek, Day Jose, and Cheeto and ATG. How you guys doing? And before I ask you individually, but there won't be, Ginger Greek, what do you think of this particular episode?
You know when you try to be meta, but you're so bad at it, it's like you've smeared feces all over the wall and try to call it art. That's what this episode was. This episode was trying to poke fun at a demographic, and it did it so badly that it became a parody of itself, and it just sunk the show to the lowest depths that a show could sink to. That's all I could say.
Wow, Jose.
All right, everybody. I want everybody to freak out, because here we go, reviewing the season finale, hopefully series finale of She-Hulk, brother. Anyway, okay, I equate this to, have you guys ever had that cup of coffee, like when you think you make the perfect cup of coffee and you take your first sip and you go, ooh, that's what this episode was. Yeah, that's what this was. It was ooh, and we were not ready for ooh. We here at NerdTube, Nerd Nation, we're not ready for ooh. We don't like ooh, but we'll elaborate why.
Cheeto and ATG.
What did you think? Go ahead.
I thought she just broke the fourth wall too much, and like everything that just kind of messed a lot up, at least in my opinion. Like, yeah.
Cheeto.
I agree with Ginger. This episode what should have been aborted from the beginning. I'm sorry. Like, I would have rathered it ended at episode 8 and just
go leave the memories alone. Leave the memories alone.
I remember memories. Yeah.
I thought that this show was not terrible. I thought it was doing okay. As I said, it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't doing bad. And it's like the polar opposite of Ms. Marvel. Ms. Marvel had great first episodes, and then like crap 2 episodes, and then a great finale. And then this show, it's like the last 2 episodes, like the 2 episodes before were okay or pretty good, and this episode just crapped the bed. I'm like, what happened? Why did we do this? Why do you hate me so? I'm not trying to hate this show, but
yeah, it's like, I think the consensus that you're going to see throughout the review and throughout what other people are saying is, what were you going for? Like, what was that? Like, that's kind of what I think the consensus is like, what were you aiming for? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think Vance tried to like clarify with saying like I was a She-Hulk's target audience, but not in the way you think. But no, sweetheart, no. I know the target audience that it tried to target was the trolls and the genuine incels and all this kind of stuff, but that's not me. I work purely on if something better be flipping well written well, otherwise there's just no point to it. And this just crapped the bed, no matter who it tried to target. But it's this is the problem we have now, and even Velma did it in its trailer. It's like trying to target the trolls online, and there's a good way of doing it, but this ain't it. This was so poorly executed. It was just like I actually felt embarrassed that these people were spending millions of dollars on an episode to produce something this cringe. It's like a dad joke gone awry, fell into crap, and came out as Bill Maher's social commentary in today's world. It was just that cringe. It was so cringe. I was embarrassed watching this. I was just like, this is the people that give us Endgame, and this is what they give us. They just gave us Werewolf by Night, and this is how they finish She-Hulk. I feel bad because I love Tatiana. I think she's a brilliant actress. Orphan Black was a great show. She is super talented. She was likable in this, but she was badly written. And what they did with Abomination, how they ended that, what their plot was, I can't. I can't. I mean, they lost me when they destroyed Mr. Invincible, but this just no.
Well,
and then Mustard Twat drops
Can I
in at
ask
the
a-
end, and
Can I ask a question before we all kind of go off on our tangent here? What was the jump the shark moment?
well, for me it was Mr. Invincible, but in this,
Mm.
in this episode,
Or
everything.
like in general, like what was your jump the shark moment for She-Hulk?
Define jump the shark, because I know
Like, you know, like it started off really, really
It
good,
lost
and
you?
then and then you knew like this is when it's like, oh, okay, I'm checking out here, kind of thing.
when what's his nuts injected himself with the serum or the reverse engineered blood. Yeah, Todd. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Even at that, like as I said, I here's the thing. I agree with Jennifer Walters in this episode that this is really how we're ending the season. Like at that point when she said that, like Hulk shows up and Titania shows up and you know and all this, that was awful. So it's like if that was the end of the show, then yes, that I would almost prefer the ending we got to that ending. But at the same time, I'm like, no, all of it was bad. All of it from the moment they entered that lodge or whatever. Abomination walks in there, and then Jennifer Walters walks in the back. Everything from there was bad. And
you know what the sad thing is? The sad thing is like the incel convention thing made sense. Okay, that made sense. The way they were talking in that was actually well done, but everything else just fell apart.
You know what this felt like? This felt like a Vince Russo wrote episode of
Whoa! You know what? That is probably very accurate.
It felt like a bro moment. Like it was like, okay, bro, what we got to do is we got to pack in all this stuff here, bro. We got to pack in She-Hulk. We got to pack in Titania. We got to pack in Daredevil. And the pacing is what felt really, really off to me. Like the pacing is some of the worst I've ever seen for a Marvel show.
I mean, there is no need for even a play-by-play here. We got Jen's arrested. Yeah. She then goes to a retreat. To find herself, finds an incel convention, then all hell breaks loose. Then she breaks the fourth wall and craps on her own show, which is dumb, and it tries to get even more meta. And then we have Kevin Feige, who's Kevin the Robot, and then it's just like, you know, it's like, where we get next and all this kind of stuff. And at this point, you're like, you don't take the show serious enough to where anything they're saying is relevant. Like, am I supposed to laugh? Oh, she said the X-Men and all this kind of stuff. Right? At this point, I don't care. I'm just sitting in a corner of this, like David Brent. This was David Brent of the MCU. And for what? And at the end of it, she's craving dick. That's it. They go through all this thing about finding itself, and then it's like it was Willie, and I'm happy. And it's just like, you missed the point, and you missed the whole point of who you were trying to go after, because in the end, you just validated their criticisms. And the main criticism is that you're doing women a disservice. Like, who's come out? Has anyone come out and criticized Elsa Bloodstone from Werewolf by Night? You, because you criticize everything. You know, you hate everything.
No, I only criticize the one moment though.
Yeah, that one moment that fell out of place. But nobody went and said, "Oh, look at this fucking character." Well, you know, they established her abilities and what she's there for, and they executed her really, really well throughout. With She-Hulk, the one thing that they're trying to do is empower women in this, and it was just embarrassing. Just embarrassing. Disney's lack of nuance and subtlety when it comes to the target audience, it's ridiculous. Like, they could do a white dude thing proper, but then they want to target a different audience, and they embarrass themselves with it, and you feel bad for that demographic. So like, this is the best Disney's going to give you, and it's just sad. It really is sad.
It's like I said back in 2019, Endgame was the peak, and that was it. And ever since like then and No Way Home, I think that was when Marvel as a whole, the whole cinematic universe, that was it right there. And it's never been the same after that.
I think after Black Panther comes out, we'll be singing a different tune. But Ginger, this was an embarrassment. It really was. And as I said, most of the show was mediocre to okay at best. Yeah. But this is the problem was that they absolutely did not stick the landing. Really, it was almost like they were a 2-year-old throwing a tantrum, and they were just like, well, fine, you want us to be meta, we're going to be super meta now. You know, like, so just going to jump through some comments here. So we
Ginger is the Red Hulk.
Oh, he is. He's the Ginger Hulk.
Ginger Hulk,
Boss Man says, hey, says Ginger's the Red Hulk. That's because he is.
Where was the leader? Yeah, that's another thing.
No, that's a Mephisto thing. Let's not get into that because that's what people anticipate. It doesn't mean it has to happen. So
yeah, that's fine. I could take or leave it. I don't really care.
This is the bad Kevin the AI.
It made perfect light of itself and made a big baddie of the MCU formula. MCU formula itself. Don't listen to the naysayers. Okay. Breaking the fourth wall to slag off idiots online.
Yeah.
Wow.
For me, it was Daredevil was a much better character. Felt rushed, but could have had the leader.
Yeah.
If you use closed captionings, you saw the Kevin twist coming. She-Hulk calls him Kevin, while the producers call him Kevin with the acronym.
Well, I saw that coming after a couple of times of saying the word Kevin, and she went to his office. That's when I knew something weird was.
I thought he was going to be like in a Emperor Palpatine chair.
Like, that's what I thought. Like that kind of weird, like villainy type.
Yeah, but I thought it would be actually Kevin Feige.
I thought he would
I didn't expect the chap in the hat. You know what I mean? I don't want to call him a twat because he's not a twat. He's done amazing.
To be honest, I thought it'd be like some guy on a desk just like writing stuff down.
Which or is essentially Kevin Feige.
Or you would think like Kevin Feige, like if they were going to do something, they would do like, the thing where the chairs turn to the back and then he turns around and then it's like, oh, there's Kevin Feige, the big kind of reveal kind of thing.
But here's the thing though, is that, here's an example of something like this done very bad. Whereas if you go back and you look in the one in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, when, after the whole Secret Wars thing, and you had Spider-Man there with Stan Lee, and they were kind of swinging through the city and everything like that. That's where something like that is done well. I mean, they had an opportunity here, and I don't want to even say the MCU's deserved this yet, but to kind of be meta in on itself. And as I said, they did not do this well at all, period. But this was their opportunity, and they just kind of played it off as a embarrass. I think embarrassment is honestly the best word to describe this episode.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Like none of these episodes have been embarrassing until this one.
It would have worked if the show was cohesive and followed a certain path, but this show has been all over the place. It doesn't know what it wants to be, and then when it takes the lazy route out, because if it was somebody like I forget the name of just like a multiversal fourth wall breaking character, I forget.
Deadpool.
Not Deadpool. No, not Deadpool. It's somebody.
The Watcher.
No. Forget all that. He's a small character and all this kind of stuff. It was like in a lot of like X-Men stuff. And if it was akin to that, it would have worked. But because it tried to be everything and was nothing, it was just embarrassing. And I want to go to the comment here with Vance. If you go down 2 comments, I think. Because I think you're expecting something from a show that was never meant to be what you wanted it to be. It was what it was, but it was a nothing show. That's the problem, Vance. And we're the ones that say that not all MCU shows need to be world-ending events.
I was the one that preached that more than anybody.
A legal comedy that a legal comedy where she fights some big ass fucking companies, brings them down, or big villains and brings them down in the courts. and all this, or defends people, and this kind of stuff. But it was all over the place.
Let's be clear. What they started to do before the fourth wall break is not what we wanted whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
Like we did not. I mean, and even the thing about like her suing Todd and stuff like that. That stuff didn't matter. Like that was fine. It's just the way they went about it and the way they got to it was just so contrived and so just
Yeah.
It felt
like, as I said, I disagree with Ginger. I did like a lot of this show. As I said, everything was pretty much okay, but I disagree with him on that fact, is that because I know he said it was directionless. I didn't feel that way until this episode. This episode was like, well, we got to end it somehow. It's like the MCU's Monty Python. It's like, well, we got to end this show somehow, and then everything goes to chaos, and then the movie just ends. It's like, except this time the MCU's like, oh no, we're not done yet. We're going to go into the real world now.
Well, we're at the problem where yet again they don't know how to end the show.
Or
They don't
Blazing
know how
Saddles
to
is a
end
better
it.
example.
After 16 minutes, if I could just give my opinion on the show, that would be fantastic. So,
Fuck off.
Yeah, suck these.
Language.
But anyways, I think some films and television shows have done the fourth wall break so much better. Blazing Saddles comes to mind.
Yes.
The way they done it was absolutely fantastic. I'm not sure if you guys ever watched Moonlighting, the final episode of that.
Moonlighting is great.
That's what Castle was based off of.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, it really took me, blew me away, that final ending. Like, you see Bruce Willis going backstage and and just saying goodbye to everyone. It was really nicely done. After following those two characters for a long time, so that was some good fourth wall breaking. The way this was done was like, come on, this is not really what it should have been. I was very unhappy with it. I wasn't satisfied at all. I'm kind of glad the show's over, because especially with the previous episode, the way it ended so well. You know what I mean? With She-Hulk raging and all of that sort of stuff, and all her shit being exploited to the public and all of that. It was a really good ending, and like, she didn't even get back at Josh in this. You know what I mean? Like, Josh just seemed like to be like like the forgotten man. The only time we saw Josh was in the end credits, when we saw all the comic strips, and then we see him like going like this in a picture of the comic strip like that. Was he shitting himself? But he's probably next. But yeah, it wasn't that great. So yeah.
I've just got to a comment here by Swamp Donkey, where it goes, this show is a perfect example of writers who think they are smarter than they actually are, and probably try to get high off the smell of their own farts. Perfectly summed up.
Yep.
Yeah.
This episode
summed up.
This episode felt like it was one of those where it was like, oh, okay, we got to end it. We don't know how we're going to do it, but there it is. And right now they're hoping that they make it out okay. That's pretty much, I think, how they're looking at it with She-Hulk. Yeah. They're thinking like, oh, man, we might make it out okay. I can honestly say I don't care if we get a season 2 out of this. That's how much this episode kind of killed.
No, I want it. I want
it.
I
want it, but for the love of God, fix it.
Fix it. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
fix it. I do want it.
Well,
but I don't care. I don't care if we don't get it, basically.
Well, I mean, they basically said, the robot said, well, the loophole or whatever that you found that's letting you do this has now been closed or whatever. So let's hope that they're like, next season maybe there'll be fourth wall breaking, but she can't like get out. I don't mind the fourth wall breaking. I don't mind it being peppered through. It doesn't have to be a big.
Not at all. Sometimes it was done well.
As long as it's done cheesy. Well. Yeah, as long as it's not cheesy fourth wall humor.
Two man said this is the worst TV show I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, there is actually a lot of stuff to talk about, but all we've spoken about is the fourth wall break. So
we don't need to go through play by play, though.
Yeah, we don't.
What is it? What is there to talk about?
Well, initially, at the beginning of the episode, we had the homage to the 1970s
Mate,
series.
everyone's seen it. Nobody cares.
I thought that was pretty nice. I don't know who the hell that.
Oh, sorry, the homage to the original
1970s.
That was good.
Yeah, the opening was.
But I know. Look, I know you're urging to do your play-by-play, but seriously, do the homage bit. But other than that, I there is really no fucking point. Like, do the homage bit, and then we'll just go to the ratings. Honestly.
Yeah. And then we can plug up.
I mean, we also got all our recurring cameos and special guest stars as well in this episode. They all came back, even one, because when I was watching the credits and I thinking to myself, special guest star Benedict Wong, I thinking to myself, he hasn't been in this episode, and then boom, we see him saving Emil Blonsky.
Don't care.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens to Emil Blonsky in the future. Now he's
then
on.
there's Scar. Ooh.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
Scar.
Here we go.
Don't get me
now you got him started. Now you got him started. You see what?
Oh my God, that's Hulk's son. They just brought him in. Oh, here's my son. God! How much more are you gonna fuck Planet and one more Hulk? Jesus Christ!
That was all
So you think-
trash.
So do you,
It's like, how much more are you gonna fuck that property up? What? How you can't redeem it? What are you gonna do? Set up for World War Hulks? Ugh. Wait, what is it gonna be? Because She Hulk's on a fucking period. Jesus Christ, man! Fuck this shit.
there's a whole story there we never got. We'll probably get that story in a Hulk prequel now because
We'll get it in 2025. Whatever happens with Hulk, we're getting in 2025.
Shit.
Because that's when they're allowed to make a solo Hulk film. You know. But
okay, Daniel Martin,
Yeah,
I
go on.
wanted to learn something
Anyway.
about Hulk's trip to Sakaar, but what we got was both too much and not enough. If that makes sense, it gave me blue brains.
mm-hmm.
It's like, here he is, but yeah, we ain't telling you nothing. Like, that's the vibe I got from it. Like, oh, here's my kid. Oh, great. Okay, cool. But yeah, like Ginger said, 2025. That'll be when they explain it. Oh, Lord.
Hey, y'all, good to be back. Being busy with work, so glad to catch the stream. Oh, thank
Glad to
very
have
much.
you with us, dude. Yeah. Glad that you're here.
Phony Beating Maniac says, I think the problem that Jennifer Walters is supposed to be more controlled than Bruce. I'd like it if a good villain was involved, like Apocalypse. Oh, of course, you like Apocalypse in there.
Shut up, Bob.
I don't know. Yes, Cheeto went. Oh, yes, Cheeto went there. Yeah, I get ya.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I didn't say anything about Apocalypse. What?
He always has.
By the
to
way,
retread
also that
Apocalypse.
barbecue scene as well at the end when they're all having lunch or breakfast or whatever on the picnic. I was immediately thinking Fast and the Furious. I was expecting Dominic Toretto to pop in there. Go family. Yeah, that's kind of like the vibe I'm getting.
Oh God.
I don't know who had it worse, She-Hulk or Scar with the CGI. I think Scar had it worse.
I know it's cliche, but I would have liked to have seen one decent She-Hulk fight. I mean, so far she's had like little scraps with Titania, which wasn't that great. She had an okay little thing with Daredevil, which you knew wasn't going to go too far because they're both on the same side. And then the final episode, nothing. You know, and even Emil Blonsky to a degree, like, you know, he wasn't bad. Like, he just happened to be a motivational speaker, but he was doing it as Abomination because it pays the bills. You know, so in a way, and theoretically, Jennifer Walters should be back in jail as well because she took off her inhibitor. That's it. And so she broke the rules too. But nope, just Emil Blonsky goes to jail and nothing happens to Jennifer.
All of it. Yeah, she's like, here you go, sign this. You get 10 years in jail for what? For turning into Abomination.
Yeah, bro. What we're gonna do, bro, is we're gonna have you go to jail, but we're not gonna explain why you're going to jail. But you're going to jail. You're starting out as a babyface, but then you're turning heel, and then you're gonna, fight Jennifer Walters on a pole match. Like, that's what you're gonna do, bro. Mm-hmm.
If it's comedy show, it was funny in places. Don't get me wrong. I thought Tatiana Maslany's comic timing was great. She's very endearing, very likable.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing to do with her in particular. It's to do with the writing.
The writing. Yeah, the writing and the pacing was very bad. Yeah, what the fuck was that? I agree. Yeah, when Daredevil just shows up out of nowhere, that's a Vince Russo thing.
I have a problem with seeing Daredevil during the day as well. Like, that just doesn't work for me. I mean, yeah. So I've seen him twice during the day now
as well.
And that god awful suit. Yeah, I hate it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that'll change. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, he's chilling in LA now. Would you guys be okay to see Jennifer Walters on the Daredevil show?
No.
I would love to see her in New York.
I don't mind.
I say give her maybe one.
If you make that a lasting MCU relationship, I mean, given that they're saying Daredevil's not part of the Netflix universe, then whatever, man.
Yeah,
you put them two together, fine.
He's got that thing with Echo as well, isn't he? So he's going to be on that show too. It'll be interesting to see how.
I think they're throwing everything at Echo just to make it relevant because nobody's going to watch it.
Dwayne the Goat, who hates women?
Who hates women? No.
Ginger hates women.
Yes, I hate them
Evil.
so much.
But the thing is, it kind of killed the character I like from earlier in the show, who seemed to have peace. Yeah, but he was not part of the incel massive. You know, he just went there as a motivational speaker. Didn't think he was going to get caught as abomination. Unfortunately, he did, and he had to pay the consequences for it.
Yep. And
It's
now
a
it
shame,
leads
really.
and now it leads to the Thunderbolts, which is one of the weakest builds I've seen yet. And I'm like, oh, okay, Wong comes in and he
Well, that
busts him
whole
out.
team,
And it's like,
that
what
whole
the hell
team
was
of the
that?
Thunderbolts, apart from Ghost, pretty much the whole team is the same people.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
It's
So
Black Widow.
yeah,
It's Black
Yeah.
Widow 2.
Ugh.
yeah.
That's what Thunderbolt is. It's Black Widow 2. There's 4 characters for Black Widow that are in that. This
Mm.
whole series was just a waste of time, ruining Mr. Immortal and shitting on Intelligentsia. Yeah.
Yeah.
With Todd being the fucking guy of Intelligentsia. What the fuck? Suck my dick. Suck it. Ugh.
I'd rather go back and rewatch DX's 25th anniversary over this.
I'd rather rewatch Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And I hated that show.
Well, this is actually
watch Party with Ginger.
Much as I die inside.
Well, this is not the final Disney Plus new series to come out this year. The next one will be will be Willow, but this is the final Marvel show this year, I believe.
Well,
we
we've
won't
got
get
a
anything.
Guardians Christmas special, but I think
Yeah,
that's
that's a
that's
special.
a-
I mean,
That's a one-off, like Werewolf
Yeah.
by Night. You know, I think there won't be anything now until Secret Invasion, which is I don't know when's that coming out.
That's
I think they
next.
said early 2023. I think it's like
Yeah, well, early
February,
2023
March.
could be like
Yeah.
it could be like June with these motherfuckers.
we don't even know what's coming out next. They're changing that slate every day, every week. They get
they-
a new slate of films and delays and
Have they figured out what the fuck they're going to do with Blade yet?
no
Rewrite the
No.
script probably.
Yeah.
redo everything.
Hey, hold
Yeah.
on. Wait. Timmy wants to chime in here really quick.
Go ahead.
Go for
All
it.
right, so I liked the She-Hulk show for a while, and then when like the fun, like when when we hit like episode 8, like when I hit the end of it, I thought like, hey, the next episode's gonna be good, and then I look at it and like as soon as Hulk comes in, I'm like, oh geez, this is gonna be bad.
Mm.
I'm not gonna like this.
Even my 15-year-old says gonna be bad.
Well,
And
the
also,
funny thing is, like,
they said
And an overprotected 15-year-old, so he's not exposed to all the horrors and garbage that is online. So there you go. Thank you,
Mhm.
Timmy,
Mhm.
for your logic and reasoning.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, they go after your age. Like, they're trying to go after your demographic, Timmy. And it's like, I don't even think they got that right.
and
No,
like
exactly.
It was like they tried to go after Timmy, like, this is his generation. It's his time now. And even he's like, this is stupid.
And like they
Yeah.
send in Scar, right? Like, and then it's like, what is this?
Yeah.
This is trash.
I mean,
I
and
just
he
wanna-
doesn't. I don't even think he knows anything about World War Hulk. Like, I don't think he's ever read the books or anything.
I heard of the title.
the title.
No.
So yeah.
It's a
Dude,
good.
read, give
Read
give
the
him
comic.
Planet Hulk
Yeah.
to read.
Yeah, give him the comic.
Give
Let
him
him
Planet
read
Hulk
that.
to read.
Yeah.
Planet Hulk is amazing. World War Hulk,
Yeah.
it's okay. But yeah.
The one thing,
Funny
the one
Peter
thing
Phoenix. Who is this Mr. Immortal guy? The dude who killed himself. Mr. Immortal is a legend from Great Lakes Avengers who was absolutely soiled, destroyed by this goddamn show.
they ruined him.
They ruined him, mate.
Ruined.
They
All
ruined
right,
him.
like,
Ruined.
regarding what you said earlier, like he says here on which I posted up, White Spider. I don't know who that is. Winter Soldier and Taskmaster. Don't forget, you've also got U.S. Agent as well and Red Guardian. They're all the fucking same, So they need to mix up that group a little bit. But apart from Ghost, it's just the same. They all have the same bloody powers. Pretty much, you got like 3 or 4 super soldiers there. It's just ridiculous. They need to mix up that. They need to throw Abomination in there. Just to mix it up a little bit. Maybe even Wong. I'd love to see Wong part of that. That'd be great.
Wongers. Yeah.
Well, theoretically, he's on the run. Like he committed a crime in She-Hulk by, making by
Busting Emil Blonsky out.
Yeah, exactly. So he could theoretically be part of that.
No, even before that,
That'll
when he
be-
was in Shang-Chi.
I'll get rid of Taskmaster and I'll get rid of maybe even Bucky.
I would keep
or Red
Taskmaster
Guardian.
if Taskmaster was better, but I agree. Like that Taskmaster, just don't even bother.
That
Like,
doesn't work for me, brother.
Red Guardian, don't even bother. I like what's his name? Harbor. I like him, but like
Red Guardian.
yeah, Red Guardian. But it's just like this is not the place for him. Like the Thunderbolts is not the place for him. Like if you want to make a Captain Falcon and his amazing friends, put him in that one because they can all have super soldiers in there. You know, like
Yeah.
Okay, Vince.
Too many people who know each other in that group as well. Like you got Red Guardian and his daughter, you got Winter Soldier and US Agent. They know each other. I want this whole, and as well as obviously Taskmaster knowing Red Guardian and so on. So I want all of this group to be people who like from various films who don't know each other coming together like a Suicide Squad, and getting the job done. So yeah.
Yeah, it's Black Widow too. Basically, that's what it feels like.
Daniel Vance, my daughter has watched all of the season except for this last episode. Otherwise, she would have joined us. But I mean, as I said, as I've said, I've enjoyed this show up until this last episode. Like as I said, I can't speak. I can't speak for everybody. Go ahead, go ahead, Zam.
I like the fact that they take the piss out of incels. I'm all for it. Rip the shit out of them. Make fun of these guys. We're not hating it because it's woman or anything like that at all.
No,
this was just a stupid thing they did, and
yeah,
if unfortunately for some people this did work. For me and for a lot of other people it didn't work, and that's how it is.
Yeah, we're not shitting on it because it's like because it's like they're
there's a woman in power
of the incels and everything. No, we hate them, but it's just like no. But the problem is that this was just so poorly executed, and it just was so like cringe, embarrassing, like all these words. It's like we wanted this to be good. We wanted to shove this in, the man, bear, pig guys' faces and just go ahead.
This is where I disagree with Too Bad. This is nothing to do with respect of women good and men bad. That's not the case, dude. There were good men in this as well, So that
yeah, Puck was good. Like they loved Puck.
Puck was good. You had Daredevil. You had Wong.
Yeah,
even Blonsky was good. You had Hulk. You had good men in this.
This was not crappy.
Bad.
This show did not crap all over men. It did not
writing,
at all.
What killed it was the writing. And
it had no subtlety in a lot of its approach with a lot of like non-essential male characters, which was hilarious.
Yeah, but
like
that's
the
also
award ceremony, like even the reporter when Jen's going to court and he spouts some sexist crap. That was just endemic of it. It was just like it was just so much of it. It's just like. But then you look at the real world and you're like, well, I mean, they're not
it does happen. Exactly.
Yeah. So, that does kind of emulate the real world.
They're not wrong. When your friends, when your female friends are getting a bunch of abuse online for just posting a picture, you're just like, it does happen. It happens too much. So, yeah, I can let that.
I'm waiting for them to mess up Dr. Doom and Kang, and they'll.
You know what? I'm just gonna block you, phony Beetle maniacs. I just, Apocalypse is coming for you.
Yeah, Apocalypse is going to ruin you.
God,
get you.
If they ruin Dr. Doom, then I think that's it.
I just feel like some of these villains, just deserve to be more than just like a villain. They need their own films. In my opinion, like Dr. Doom needs his own movie, not just Fantastic Four villain.
Have we gotten a villain movie yet throughout the entire MCU? I don't think we have.
Infinity War is technically Thanos' movie. That's how the directors. That's how the directors and the writers made it. Infinity War was supposed to be Thanos' movie.
We've got 2 wins for villains, and that was in Captain America: Civil War and Infinity Wars. Those were the only 2 times the bad guy won. But other than that, we've never really had a film about bad guy.
Yeah,
and I want that. I think
they need to expand upon that. Like, I'd like to see Dr. Doom get his own movie. He's worthy of his own movie.
Oh, I think they could. I think, and if they get the right actor,
if Disney had balls, sorry, Jason. If Disney had balls, they could make a fantastic Doctor Doom movie.
Yeah,
there's so much there with Dr. Doom to work with.
Yeah.
there is so much to work with. You can
Ta- ta-
tie it in. You can change the origins and tie it in with Kumatage. You could tie it in with like the rise of Latveria out of the ashes of Sokovia, all this kind of stuff. You could do such a great political film with it, but no, they're just gonna shove him where they're shoving him in, and he's gonna come from there. It's just like, oh, okay, pantomime. But
Tatiana
hopefully
was a
they don't botch it.
Tatiana was a villain. I just think she was underutilized. This is the one I
Oh,
want to get to.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, it did shit on men. Laugh out loud. I don't have a problem with women leading the show or movie, but it's like right, it's set out to shit. No, you got it wrong. It shitted on incels. It shitted on bad men, not
No,
all men.
And they also
You know,
and they also shitted on dating, like the dating scene in general for women. Like,
Yeah.
and I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like they were right. Like dating in your 30s and all that.
It's tough. Yeah.
It sucks. Like it,
Yeah.
and I mean that's men and women. So I mean, I
Mhm.
get it. They were kind of showing the woman side of it. So it seemed like they were just crapping on crapping on men.
But
But
the overall point is dating in your 30s sucks. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's
and
not
I think
easy.
she even verbatim said that. Is there
Yeah.
anything worse than dating in your 30s? So and men are bad, but there are also women who are manipulative. It's it's an even stake on both sides. Like there are just as many bad women as there are as bad men. This was from the perspective of a female, so of course it looks like they're making men look bad because women
Yeah.
are always chasing after the wrong guys.
Yep.
Look at Titania. I mean, she wasn't the an amazing woman. I mean, you saw what she did. She was grifting. She was pretending to be friends at the wedding and stuff like that. When she was fucking around, she's a horrible person. Snake oil, literally selling snake oil. You know, what I mean, they weren't just making it all about men being bad, and and the men who were bad were bad men. Whilst you did have good men as well. So yeah.
Poor Tim.
Yeah,
Yep.
sorry, I apologize. Yeah, Titania on this was what motivation and just evil. Make Doom another special presentation horror next Halloween.
No,
Give him his own movie.
no,
Give him
old movie.
Make it an old Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers type show.
No.
No, please no.
I'm not
No.
sure if
All
I
right,
want.
man, I love you.
I'd rather just have an old Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers show, But yeah, if they did a special, they had a good actor doing it, I'll be on board.
No, Doom needs his own movie. That's what we're saying.
Poor Tim Gamer learning dating in his 30s is gonna suck.
Get in there early, Timbo.
Yeah.
No,
too
I got
early.
it early. No.
Don't tell him
Not
that.
too early. Not too early.
Yeah,
Take your time and
exactly.
just enjoy it, man. That's all we can say. Enjoy being
Enjoy Don't leave us hanging.
enjoy being a teenager, man, because I'm going to tell you, once that time is gone, you won't get that time back. Trust me.
I'm trying to enjoy it.
Yep. Well, I didn't think we were going to go that far, but all right.
Oh my god.
Okay, the good men that portrayed dumb characters, let's be honest. Also, Daredevil was nerfed hard in this show. Daredevil was very charismatic. Pug is just an innocent guy, like
Yeah.
He's just a good guy. Like
he's
that's
just a
what
good
like,
guy. Like even
I
the
really
dad
liked him. I
was a
thought
good
they
person.
gave him
Bruce
enough
Banner
credit.
was good.
Yeah.
Wong was good. There was some. They weren't dumb at all. There was some.
Wongers.
Wongers,
And stuff like. Oh yeah,
That-
Madison. What a great character.
Where was she?
I
Yeah.
wanted her back. I wanted
Where
her
was
back
she
so
at?
badly.
Like,
Give
Madison,
her her
oh
own
my
show.
God.
she was a
Right.
highlight. Yeah.
Yeah, why
Madison
didn't
was
she come?
fantastic.
Like, why didn't her and Wongers come stumbling in that
She
final?
just gets
Yeah.
drunkenly stumbles into like other characters' shows and all
And I'll never forgive her for spoiling Sopranos for me.
seen it 20 years later.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
There's always
All
going to
right,
be.
well-
I mean, there's going to be still plenty of shows where you can have more female leads, male characters, stuff like that. Sometimes the women are going to be front and center, while the men will be the supporting cast. Stuff like that has actually
Just
happened for a
done
long time.
As
It's
long as
like using the Tomb Raider movies with Daniel Craig being the love interest and stuff like that. And like they've done stuff like this for a long time. It only comes into the forefront now, but through social media because people want to make an issue of certain things. And you know what, us men, we can be fucking dumb as fuck. You know what I mean? Trust me, we can be. So don't take that to heart, mate. Honestly, there's always going to be a place for strong alpha males. You know what I mean? We'll always have a place in television, but same with female characters too. They're allowed to shine as well, and it won't be at the expense of men. Trust me. funny Beatlemaniacs. I disagreed. I thought Daredevil was great. The men in this that are terrible exist in real life, from lawyers to that millionaires sleep with me because I'm a rich bro douche.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't met a male lawyer that's a good dude. In fact, I haven't met a lawyer that's a good person. They're all just, the default is to be an absolute shit.
Yeah, I was in that boat for a long time, but I have met
Mhm.
the odd one or two decent lawyers, but they are few and far between. You know what I mean?
Very
Like they
few and
are.
far between.
Yeah, because in that job you can't really have morals, man. It's just about following the law and then fuck everything
No,
else. You know,
like job. Forget. I'm not talking about the job. I'm just as a person.
Yeah, I was about to
it's
say
like bankers. Yeah,
too.
Horrible.
it's like bankers as well, man. Bankers are wankers. You know what I mean?
No,
It's
not really. Because
really, mate, I've had a
no,
lot of
'cause,
them in my cab, man. They're fucking wankers.
you know, a lot of the higher ups have a high opinion of themselves, but you know, my friends who work in the banking industry are solid. You know what I mean? But then that's just anecdotal, really. I mean, if we're talking averages, you're probably right. So
That's because
Yeah.
Ginger, you're there to keep them balanced. That's why, you know, you keep their heads on straight.
Yeah.
oh yeah, and well, not just me. Anyone in our group, if anyone gets a big head, they just get slapped down.
Well, I actually had this one guy in my cab, but he was a barrister, and he didn't have like the name Mister or Doctor. He had the initials HE. I said to him, "What does the HE stand for?" And he goes to me, "His Excellency." So yeah, I was the first and only His Excellency I've ever had in my car. So I've had reverends and all of that, but
Prosperity of this
and
country is just a joke.
I've had lords, I've had knights, which are sirs, but that was the only His Excellency I've ever had. Anyway,
Now before all of those peasants or important people.
this is Megan Thee Stallion twerking with She-Hulk was amazing, but it hurt. You know, people took that way too seriously.
Dude,
for some reason.
that was
Yeah.
so that backlash was so funny.
This is the death of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like they're killing it right here. Tony Hawk died for, or Tony Stark died for this.
Yeah, you would have heard that. I was telling those.
Yeah.
No, I was telling those people who complained about Tony Stark dying for this. That did you not see Iron Man 1? He had pole dancing air stewardesses in his private jet, and you're complaining about this shit? Please, you know what I mean? So okay, time to rate this final episode, boys and boys.
And get this done. Thank God.
No crap. Hold on, I gotta do my job. Well, I mean, you guys go ahead.
All right, do your job, Jose.
Oh, I gotta go first. All right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to give this a 4 out of 10 because it wasn't really all that great. And honestly, I never want to see it again. And if season 2 doesn't happen, brother, I really don't care. But all right, Marvel, you got to pick it up. You got to finish strong. You got to bring us something great next time. Oh, yeah, dig it.
Okay, I'm going to go around the second time to ask you for a rating for the season. But okay, 4 out of 10 for this episode. Cheeto?
Yes.
Go ahead, Tim. All right.
So rating?
Yeah, for this episode.
Out of 10.
So going into it, I thought it was great. Most of it was great, and then the end just sucked. So I guess I'm gonna give it a 6. So Marvel, better luck next time.
6 is reasonably generous.
Yeah.
Cheetah?
3. I gotta go with 3.
Yeah, I can't hate.
Yeah, just 3. 3 because Disney Plus should be for free this month because we had to watch this.
Mm-hmm. When did this start? This started end of August, correct? We sat through this for like what, a month and a half, or almost like
2 months, mate.
2 months, yeah. And this is what they end with. Lord.
Before you give me yours, Ginger, Daniel's Vance said it made fun of itself and fans who complain about every little thing, yet still show up to the next series like it were cracked 9 out of 10. But just so you know, I have liked majority of the episodes of this show. I have not hated this show. There's only been this episode a little bit and the wedding episode were the only 2 episodes I didn't like too much. Other than that, I've been pretty much very generous with this show. I gave it a 10 out of 10 last week, if you remember. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Ginger.
Castrate Daniel Vance. Castrate. 0.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nothing likable about this episode.
Yesterday
0.
we had a 10 out of 10 between me and Ginger, and today we are
Yeah, this is the lowest.
Or no,
I
I'm
think
sorry,
we've
2
been
days
in a
ago.
minute.
Andor was 10 out of 10.
I mean,
Sorry.
Oh yeah, Andor is just a friggin' work of art. You know what I mean?
They trashed the finale, so
Well, look,
This is just
I'm gonna give it just this. I'm just gonna give it a 5. I I give him a little bit of credit for trying something, but it didn't work. It just didn't work. And we got some little tidbits here and there, obviously with Scar and with Abomination and Wong. Um, it was reasonably interesting, and even like name drops like the X-Men when that's coming out. I mean, they were basically speaking for us at certain points. But yeah, it's just going to get an average 5 out of me for me. So I'm going to go in reverse order now. I'm going to go in reverse order now. What did you guys think of the series? We'll mark it out of 10. Ginger Greek.
I'd give the series a 4 out of 10. It did have episodes 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe 6 that I enjoyed. But the Mr. Invincible was a huge faux pas, and so the most I can give it is a 4, and that's me being generous.
Ginger wants a special presentation of where they redeem Mr. Immortal as
no, I do not want this Mr. Immortal. Get rid of him. Take him out of this universe.
They have to Mandarin him. They have to bring him back. They have to make him better.
Or bring in another Mr. Immortal with a different name, but he's more akin to Great Lakes Avengers, Mr. Immortal.
You know what we're going to do,
and then I'll be happy with that. It doesn't need to be called Jake. It could be called anything else. But,
Jake.
You just can't. Yeah. Irredeemable.
Chia.
All right, reverse
And
order. So I guess
ATG?
I'm going first. I was going to give this like a 7, but with the way they shit the bed on this last episode, I'm going to give it a 6. I'm sorry. Like I did like a lot of episodes, but the way they crapped on this ending here, I can't. And then Scar, God, please just make it stop. Just make it stop.
Stop! He's already dead.
He's already dead.
ATG.
are we still reading the show?
Yeah,
the
series
season.
now. The season. Yeah.
The season.
What do you rate the season?
I thought it was pretty good. I'll give it a 7.
Jose.
It's going to get a 6. It was all right. If they would have ended it with episode 8 and like did something to tie it in where she goes after the bad guys and they ended there, then that would have pushed me over and said, okay, I'll give it like a 7 or so. But yeah, it's going to get a 6. It was all right. I'll probably go back and rewatch maybe the episode with Daredevil because that's the best episode of the series, like we said when we gave it a 10 and all that jazz. Other than that, I don't think I'll go out of my way to watch this show again. So it's going to get a 6.
I'm going to be giving it a 7, and my reasons are that we got some continuation from previous events from the films with Shang-Chi. Obviously, the variety of cameos as well. Seeing Tim Roth come back as Abomination was great.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing in Wong there as well, Daredevil, which is seeing him like properly. Even though we got to see him in No Way Home, we got to see him properly in Daredevil form, not just Matt Murdock.
Ketchup and mustard.
And it's also good to see Bruce come back as well in any capacity, being the mentor role. The first episode, I know you didn't like it, Ginger, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, I liked him in it.
I thought it was a good Origins episode as well, and I think there was even though like the landing didn't stick at the end, I thought there was a lot in this show overall that wasn't too bad. Tatiana Maslany as well, a fantastic She-Hulk, very well casted, a good comedic actress too, and even some of the supporting characters are quite kind of likable. I like Nikki, I like Pug. They don't piss me off like they might do with other people. I think they're good characters.
I kind of wish we would have seen more of them because, like, if there was more courtroom drama, we could have seen more of them. One of my favorite parts with Puck was when he was defending the what was it? The one guy who thought he was the Megan the Stallion episode where he was defending him, even though he had a trash client. He's like, well, I'm going to kind of make this work. But he was still like, he's very enjoyable and charming. And I mean, it kind of takes that Prometheus stink out of my mouth. So, I mean, I wish we would have had more of those characters.
Exactly. So, as I gave it a 10 last week, it's very hard for me to give it a super low rating for the whole series. So, it's a 7 for me, and I want to see more. Some of these characters don't necessarily get a good first shot at stardom, so to speak. But hopefully, with a return that they can improve. So yeah, I would love to see more of She-Hulk in the future, and maybe as guest stars in other shows as well. That would be great. So yeah, maybe World War Hulk, maybe.
Well,
Who
I
knows?
feel like when I watch a show again, I will probably skip the last episode.
Yeah, ended
I
at
would
episode
watch
8
the whole
and
series
leave it
again,
alone.
but I would just not even bother with the last episode.
Just stop
Um,
at episode 8.
I honestly didn't mind the whole backyard scene and in that. I just once Bruce walked in with Scar, I was done. I'm like, no, like this is stupid.
It's trash.
Yeah, bro, it wasn't trash, bro. If they would have put Jennifer Walters on a pole, it would have been the greatest thing of all time, bro. I'm telling you.
All right, let's end
Vince
it there.
Russo in the flesh.
Yeah, and also like get a bigger budget for this show so she can remain more as She-Hulk and less as Walters. Because I think in the comics, I believe that she likes being She-Hulk all the time.
Mm.
So
Well, in Dan Slott's run, yeah.
yeah, so that would be pretty cool too. All right, anything more to add, fellas?
No.
Thank God it's over. Yeah.
Okay, well, join myself and Cheeto tomorrow for Lord of the Bud Bud Ding Dings. It's the final episode of that, so yeah, please join us for that. And to everyone else out there, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube. We are the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. Take care and
Watch
bye-bye.
Clerks 3.